Namaste. Living alone single. Some call it freedom, others call it breakfast in bed with their dog and their cats. Watch until the end of this video and I'll share with you evidence-based tips on how living alone single cannot be as bad as you think it is, and you'll be able to understand, embrace yourself, and live a full life before you enter into that next relationship. I'll show you how to create a fulfilling life where singlehood isn't a relationship status, but it's an act of growth and self-compassion. I'm Dhruva MD, a practicing board-certified family doctor that lives brilliantly bipolar. I've been sober from alcohol, drugs, gambling debt, eating disorder, self-hate for nearly the last 7 years with a sober date of July 31st, 2018. Mind hygiene is a concept that I've developed that has medical evidence to support it. It is a writing technique that allows you to feel good at least 80 to 85% of the day. Imagine that, if you feel good for 80, 90% of the day, instead of talking crap about yourself, feeling bad, saying mean things to yourself, and doing things that you don't like. I'll share with you how I turned my solitude into a superpower. I speak about this evidence-based technique called mind hygiene that I've developed all over the world. When I first started living alone, it was just after I had graduated from med school. I was about 26 years old and I was living in the New York, New Jersey metro area. During that time, I didn't really feel like I was alone because I had so many friends, but it was the first time where I did not have anybody in the same place that I lived at. I did have a partner when I was in medical college. She was great, and we did sleep next to each other on occasion, but I always have slept alone. The living alone single wasn't that big of a deal to me, so I must admit that. It's not like I slept next to somebody for 20 years and all of a sudden I woke up and they're not there. But there were many times where I did feel, am I just stupid? Am I dumb? Do people not like me? Am I supposed to be sleeping next to somebody? Am I just supposed to be living single for the rest of my life? And slowly throughout time, I understood, started developing compassionate techniques for myself, started writing, but little did I know anything about this mind hygiene business. I mean, I was drinking, I was smoking cigarettes, I was eating bad, and I'll be partying all night like on a Friday and then coming back home early Saturday morning and then sleeping off the whole weekend. But now that I'm sober, what am I doing now to live brilliantly? What am I doing now to not go back into the same trap of eating bad, of gambling, of doing drugs? I've been sober for nearly 7 years now with these evidence-based techniques that I've developed called mind hygiene. What would happen is that over the years, I would be writing these long lists of things that I did bad. And then I realized that, look, man, I'm alone. I got nobody to really talk to about these things. I really don't want to be talking to people who have a fixed mindset. I don't want to be talking to people who always tell me what I want to hear. And I really don't want to be talking to a lot of people at all because I want to know what I'm thinking. And when I started accepting myself and embracing myself and doing these small wins of writing regularly, I felt so much better. But it took me many years to develop, and I want to share these simple techniques with you that have medical evidence to support them, where you can take action by the end of this video. What you're going to realize is the big limitation that you may have is that you're trying to fix your emotions and overcome your thoughts. You don't want to do that. Figure out ways to accept who you are and embrace your emotions. Because when you're living alone and you're single, you want to know what you're doing. You want to know what you did in your previous relationships, don't you? You don't want to be blaming other people. That's a big waste of time. Let's try to figure this out. Teaching point number 1, believe in your limitations. One of the first things to living alone is believing in what your limitations are. For example, when I would go out on dates, at times I would talk fast, I would be too energetic. When I get nervous, I say a lot of things, probably overshare too much. What did I do? I just wrote these things down. I overshare, I talk fast, maybe I'm not present. Instead of me talking bad about myself, I said, look, buddy, I'm gonna schedule 1 second in to write down what I think that I could have improved on this date as an example. Now, I don't wanna talk bad about myself now because I'm earning compassion. I'm keeping a promise to myself, saying that I'm going to write, and I'm taking an action on that too. I feel that action and keeping promises to yourself is one of the biggest steps in self-compassion and self-love. Now I can confidently say without some random affirmation that I love myself because I've taken time to understand it and I've believed in one of my limitations, and let me try to accept it and move on with it instead of trying to say, oh, well, you know what? I had to develop energy. I had to talk fast because they were talking slow. I wasn't present because they were so boring. You don't want to do those types of things. Blaming other people is not going to allow you to be the best version of yourself and believe in your limitations. Number 2, the ACEs framework. ACEs, your life with mind hygiene. ACES. A is accept your awareness. C is communicate your compassion. E is embrace your empathy. And S is soften the process. As an example, let's say I was not present during the date and there was somebody who said, look, you're absent-minded. Let me accept that awareness. Okay, so this person perceived this. Let me communicate with compassion. Well, I'm taking time to write this down. I'm mind hygiening my mind, and it's based on medical evidence, and I don't need no meds, I don't need no drugs to help me with this. Embrace your empathy. Understand that you're doing it alone because you live alone and you're single. S is soften the process. One of my favorite parts of mind hygiene is to soften the process. Don't talk to people who complain, say it's hard, it's difficult, it's stressful. You just haven't understood it yet. And it could take you years. And if you write this down, look, you're feeling great right now, but what's gonna happen in the next half hour? Are you gonna say you're dumb, you're stupid? Well, I did that. Don't do those mistakes, and just write for one more second in 90 minutes. And just say, look, let me ACEs my life, accept my awareness, communicate my compassion, embrace my empathy, and soften the process. Research from Frontiers in Psychology shows that self-acceptance and self-compassion provide emotional wellness that lasts. We're talking about lasting emotional wellness. We're not talking about, oh, hey, look, man, I got to control my mind right now. That's boring. You don't want to do that. Think of radical acceptance and compassion as your emotional first aid kit when you're living alone. Now, waking up next to my dog early in the morning. Now, I don't want to think that this is going to be my life forever, but when it is my life, what am I going to do? The next second, I'm going to do what I can to feel better about myself by writing. And I'm going to use simple frameworks. You don't have to use mine. Writing has so much medical evidence to support it. You're 300 times more likely to understand, embrace, and achieve a goal if you were to write it down. And imagine if you do it regularly. If this resonates with you, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll be dropping videos every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be dropping shorts throughout the week. And on Fridays, there will be bonus content all at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. There will be a link in the description below to a mind hygiene PDF that you can follow along. It's just like any workout program. Let's say this is your new CrossFit and I'm like, look, why don't you come in, do some mind hygiene, feel better? Well, sit down for 1 second and schedule it in 1% of the day, put it on a calendar, write it down, keep that promise to yourself, accept it, embrace it, and you can earn compassion. My original channel was hacked and deleted, and I'm on a mission to get 1,000 subscribers in the next 1,000 days. Join our vision here at Dhruva MD, where we want everybody to feel good about themselves every second without a bunch of meds, without a bunch of drugs, without sugar, but through medical evidence-based processes where you can rely on yourself without anybody else. Namaste.